Let's go. All right. So if you don't know me, I'm Ryan. Okay, longtime coach for all these things. 2 years as a varsity coach, 7 years as an assistant. I do private training, soccer coaching license. I've done faith in football, but probably the most important thing that matters to you is I have two of my kids have been recruited into the college space, and they have very radically different experiences. And that's what I'm really going to be sharing with you guys today is like, hey, how does that work? Okay. So my son Colin is the guy in the middle. This kid here, you don't know him, right? This picture was taken as he moved into his sophomore year. He just graduated from Adrian University about 2 weeks ago, and he played soccer there. And this picture is the whole reason why we got him into doing college soccer and put the effort and energy into it. We're moving him into this dorm right here, Jarvis Hall. He's on the third floor, all the way at the end, and we're like moving him in. And then from down the hall, I hear, "Colin, Colin, is that you? Where are you? Hey, dude, when'd you get here?" And suddenly these guys show up out of nowhere. And they're like, "Yo, what's up, bro?" Hand fives, hugs and stuff like that. And I realized this this is what we dreamed of. We dreamed of a brotherhood, a community, a set of people that he's going to belong to. And that was like right there. I was like, okay, whatever work, whatever we put into this thing, whether he got minutes or playing time or the heartache of coaches he didn't like, that stuff, it's the people that mattered. And so much so that like this is him on the left here. This is his roommate at orientation and day one, and they graduated together. And here's the same set of guys that just graduated 2 weeks ago, and they're now spending time together. They're actually working this summer. So that's, if you say, what is the whole point of this? I say that's kind of one of the points. Okay. And yes, it's super fun to go and play at the next level, but it's people that really begin to matter at the end. All right. So that's a great story. Okay. Now let's think from about Colin's recruitment, and it's very similar to since 2019, which I've been involved with any of the programs, the boys and the girls side. These are all the people that I know of that have been recruited to go on to play at the collegiate level. Okay, my son Colin, Javon Miller, Brooke Troughton, Becca Pace, Mariah Chris, Emily Eschenroder, Gio, and then also my daughter Claire. Okay, all of the color boxes have a pretty similar experience. And here's the deal, and this was what happened with Colin, is they got recruited due to somebody's personal network. They knew somebody. We knew through Ian, the coach at Adrian, and that's how we got in there. Javon Miller, Nick Roberts, the coach at Ashland, buddies with Ian. Brooke Troughton, Clear University. Steve Steele's daughter goes there, knows the coach. JUCO for Becca Pace. I know the coach at Jackson, recommended her to go reach out. Defiance, Mariah, that's Scott Chafin's work. Emily Eschenroder, I made connections with Lourdes University and foster a relationship. Gio also to Ashland. Claire is the only one out of this group that is an outlier that didn't accomplish this recruitment through a relationship. Now that's nothing wrong. It's not like a wrong or right or wrong. They're just different. And so that's what I'm going to be showing you guys is like, hey, if you want to expand, if you want to go outside that, it takes, I'm just going to throw it all down, is it really takes a lot of work and effort. So let's have a look at it. So Claire's journey looks like this by the numbers. She sent out 120 different emails. She attended 5 different ID camps, 15 different phone call interviews with coaches where they said, hey, the interest was like, hey, I'd like to talk to you on the phone. She went on 7 official visits. 200 additional schools reached out to her individually, and she played up to 45 games in front of college coaches. Boom. Right? That is a ton of energy and work. But if I go back to Colin's experience, that's really what we wanted for her, to have her find a fit that fit really perfectly for her. There's lots of choices, but we ended up rolling just really, really great to a school called Malone. Okay. All right. So question, Mindy.
Hi, Ryan. First, thank you for putting this together. Really appreciate it. Second, those games that you said she played in front of college coaches, was that with her travel team or was that high school or both? Like,
Yeah.
which is better, I guess, or
Yeah, it
I
is.
might be
It is.
jumping ahead.
No, it's great. It's great. It's a great question. It's not in my list to talk about things because there's so much to talk about. Actually, is that uh, all 45 games were from her club team. There were 0 that came from her high school experience, and most upper level schools don't count. They discount. They weigh the club experience higher than they do a high school experience. It's not completely discounted, and there's many pathways. I'll just say that, like, that's a generalization, but there's many pathways to finding the relationship with a school and a coach and a college and a place that fits. And if I could tell you guys anything about it, is like everybody's journey is really unique and different, um, in how they go about doing it. So some people just go to one school, they go to one camp, they talk to one coach, and that's it. Okay, and some talk to 500, and it's pretty radical. So what the extremes are and all that. But the 45 games were all played through her club. It's rare that college coaches come to a high school game. Okay, it's not to say that they don't. They do though. That's typically how it goes. I can talk more about that later on, but that's the quick answer to your question. All right, so most hey Ian, you missed this slide. This is a good one. Since 2019, I'm just kidding. I'll talk to you, buddy. You're worth it. So since 2019, these are all of the players that I know of that were recruited. The ones in the color boxes were all due to the coaching staff at MHS in building and fostering relationships with those different universities to allow them to kind of connect and find a fit. And so big thanks to yourself, Steve Steele, Rob Anderson, Scott Chafin, myself, to just foster this, like, a pathway to get there. And it's not a lot of hidden work gets done. And you and I talk about that pretty often. All right. Okay. So let me move on. So Claire was a little bit different. All right. So then what are the opportunities that are out there? It's funny. I talked to a student. I'm like, hey, who you want to play in college? It's like, oh yeah, I want to play in college. Well, what's your top 3 schools? Well, it's Michigan State, Michigan, and Oakland University. I'm like, dude, what? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. That's awesome. I love the aspiration. However, but there are, and here's the deal, is this: there are spots on rosters that go unfilled every year. There is money, scholarship money, that goes unclaimed every year, right? So at the Division I level, probably not, right? At these lower levels, the answer is going to be yes. Okay. So this is the just normal metrics. Hey, how many D1 schools are? There's 212. D2, it's this. D3 is this. JUCO or NAIA is that, and JUCO, which is a 2-year school, is that many. Within 300 miles or within 4-hour driving distance, this is how many schools. So you may be interested to have your kid go further away. You open up the doors really wide, but most kids fall within this 4-hour driving span or less. Okay. And so if we take this and if we had 8 new spots per class, okay, so Rooney, you're a 2027 grad, right?
I'm 2028.
Oh, 2028. So 2028. So in 2028, there's probably 8 spots on average, from 6 to 10 spots open up per roster spot. So I just took a net mean. So, hey, you're looking at within a 4-hour radius, there's about 472 spots on the men's side. Women's side's really different. The interesting thing, now here, check this out. You should feel lucky. In Colorado, half the opportunity. Out west, Oregon, half the opportunity. Okay, we are in the hotbed of the numerics. We have a ton of schools and opportunity to play at the next level. And my encouragement is, hey, look at all levels. Okay, that's my big takeaway there. Right. And my big thing is, if you want to play in college, the only thing that should stop you is your skill level. It should only be your skill. It shouldn't be the fact of, like, there's not a resource, there's not a relationship. It's only your skill level that should really stop you. And so that's a big deal. The next question I have for you, and I gotta be fast here because otherwise I'm gonna just kill off my time, is this is pretty funny, but do grades matter? The answer is absolutely. You go on to play college to become what's called a student athlete, where the student is first and the athlete is second. At the higher levels, it's maybe inverted a little bit, but the key is, and we heard this from Nick Roberts at Ashland, is that somebody who has a good GPA is more recruitable, okay, than somebody who doesn't, because scholarships are oftentimes stackable. Not always. They're what they're called considered stackable, which means if you have a really good GPA, let's say that entitles you to an academic scholarship of 15 grand a year, okay, right? Let's say tuition is 45,000. Okay, then he's going to give you, let's say, 10 grand as athletics. That gives you an out of the pocket. You're at 25. There we go. There we go. 25. I did my math wrong there. You're at 25. You're at a $20,000 out of pocket per year. Okay, versus if we can only give you 10, then you're at 35,000. So there's a big difference between these things. And oftentimes coaches, they have just a pool of money that they can, once they use it, they lose it. Okay, and they start dividing up money in scholarships. So if they can get somebody to play and not have to use up all of their scholarship money on Rooney Skulls, but you can kind of stack these things together, hey, that's what they're going to be looking for. So do grades matter? The answer is absolutely yes. From a stackable, and then also we're going there to get an education. So give yourself an opportunity to get the education. All right, awesome. Moving forward. Okay, so now what is the process about how do you go about getting recruited? Okay, this is my take on it. There's lots of takes on it, but I feel like number one, you got to do some research on what schools are really good for you. Okay, you need to have a great video, a highlight video. You have to have some communication and exposure. Right, every college coach thinks they have a gift to detect talent. So you need to give them the opportunity for them to detect you as talent. Okay. And lastly, you got to develop your relationship with them. Okay. So let's break this down. Okay. First one is research. So when you do research, you're looking to answer these series of questions. And did we do this? I did this. I have a spreadsheet. I can show you later. It lists out every school, distance from home, what division they're in, what's the student population, what's the culture like, okay, what kind of majors, what geographic setting are they in? Are they in an urban? Are they in rural? Are they in a suburb area? Okay, who is the coach? What is their profile? What's the team like? Would you play as a freshman? Do they have a reserve squad? What's the cost? Right, like what is the actual out of this? You know, and have you Google mapped the campus and have you seen them play? Right? These are incredibly amazing questions to start asking yourself. And I think it's a ton of fun to figure some of these things out. And the key thing is the gray box here is what matters to you. There's certain things that matter to you in this list more than others. Okay. So let's do a little example. Okay. Say, how would we figure this kind of thing out? So I put 2 links in here, and there's a website that I used heavily, and it's this guy. Okay, it's from ncsasports.org, and you click on a state, and it tells you with a map where all the colleges are. So if I want to see, here's all the Division I's in Michigan. Okay, there's Central. This is for the girls' side. Okay, that's Western, Michigan State. Okay, and that's pretty high level. So hey, what's at Division II? Look, we have 2 in the UP. Okay, Ferris State, Northwood, that's going to be Saginaw Valley. It's going to be Grand Valley, and that's going to be Davenport. Then we got Division IIIs. And the cool thing is you can click on these, and they can tell you exactly what's the student population. They can begin to answer some of these questions. The nice thing is, as Michiganders, we have a little bit of a block to these southern states. We don't think about them, okay? But Ohio is filled with awesome opportunities to play at the next level. So within an hour's drive, you have, let's look at Division II. Hey, that is Findlay University, alma mater to our favorite coach, assistant coach, Rob Anderson, okay? And the list goes on. So this is a great place to start to just get some of this basic knowledge. Okay, so well, let's say you decided, okay, Findlay looks interesting to me. It's in close. Oilers, that's kind of weird. Okay, how would I go about answering additional questions? Well, I would do this. I would probably just do a search, Findlay University women's soccer, men's soccer, whatever it is. Each one of these are going to have a website that almost looks exactly the same. Okay, every university has almost like a template of how they do their athletics. So this will open up and it's going to give me opportunities to look at the roster, their schedule, who are the coaches, do they have camps, and figure out a little bit about the university altogether. All right, so the first thing I usually look at is the schedule and the results. This tells me, well, who do they play? Where do they travel to? Okay, Claire was recruited by Penn West Edinburgh, Division II school, western side of Pennsylvania. So it was within the 4 hours. So it was within our circle. Okay. But guess what? All the games they played were further east into Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and further away. And we're like, hey, we probably want to come see you play. 4 hours would be the minimum drive. Every other game would be longer. So we're like, that's a no for us. Okay. And it's all in a kind of this east, it's kind of an East Coast thing. So other schools here, we find out, hey, okay, this is playing Saginaw Valley, Ashland. Hey, they're in the Cedarville. They play at Ferris State. They're in Canton. They're in Midland, Michigan. This is all. Hey, their away games are close to us, actually. Oh, that makes sense. We also find out real quick, are they any good? Pretty good, right? We've looked at a couple schools. A school looked at Claire and Roosevelt. They lost every single game. They were a losing team. They're on the rebuilding. I'm like, Claire, would you like to go and be part of a rebuilding process? She's like, no, I've had enough losing to Skyline and those kinds of Ann Arbor teams. I'd like to have some wins. So that matters, right? Those are good examples. Other things you can figure out is you can also look here at their roster and you can look at, well, who are the players and where did they come from and what are their bios? Do I fit in with who they are? So here you can say this person's from Pinckney, Michigan. Okay, they recruit from Michigan. That's a good sign. What if you see a school from Indiana, they have 0 Michigan people? Like, I don't know how that happened, but maybe that's a thing. Maybe it's not. But here you can look at the profile of what these players are. Interesting thing. I went and looked at Northern Ohio University, NAIA school, looked at their roster. Every single one of their first team players out of their internationals. Nobody domestic. Okay. Maybe 2%, maybe 5% were domestic. And I'm like, that would be a very cultural, unique experience if you fit in with 3 girls from Iceland, 2 girls from Finland, 5 from England, 3 from Germany. Do your research. Do your research. Do your research. The other thing you'll find here on the roster is you'll find the coaching staff. You'll find very quickly, hey, here's the head coach, and this is how you dig out their emails. There's their email, this is their phone number. You basically get a good picture of who they are, right? So after you've done your research, one of the next steps is going to be communication, and that's where you start using, hey, these emails and phone numbers, and that's how you start digging them out. The other thing you can do while you discover here is you can see if they have any camps. So here I can see they have camps. They oftentimes have it in like a more link here, and then Findlay's a little bit different, but it's pretty common. They'll list all of their sports. And so they'll have, here's the men's soccer camp. Looks like they don't have that one set yet for men's. But if we look at the girls, I think the girls do have it configured. There you go. It's on the 27th, and it's about $100. It's from 12 to about 3:30. Great. So step number one, okay, I have for you guys is do your research. Okay. And if you're looking to how should I go about doing the research, I would say fill this out. Find top three D1s. Dream. Go big. It's fun to do it. Find 4 D2s. Find 5 D3s. 5 3 NAs and 3 JUCOs. At every level, have a target. Okay, have somebody to go after. And yes, can the door open up to come from someplace else? But I would say start doing your research. And this would be one of your first action points if you're looking for taking homework. Hey, I do research and I need to do 3, 4, 5, 3 3s on this. Awesome. Okay, now the next question you might have is like, okay, Ryan, what are these different divisions and levels? Okay, this is super important. Okay, D1s, there are high-end Division I schools and there's kind of low-end Division I schools. Some D2 schools, their programs will be better than some of the D2s, D1s. Same thing with D3s. And NAI is just a different different kind of organization. And they have they're not applied by the same NCAA rules. And same thing with JUCO. And so D1 is not always better, right? And so it's about finding the right fit in school that's for you. So that's a big deal. All right. One other item I want to throw out here is club. Okay. So club is an opportunity to play soccer at a pretty high-end level. Usually it's at a larger school. They'll have an NCAA, what they call a varsity program that you typically see, but then they'll have a club program. Okay. They dress, they play, they don't train as often. It's not as rigorous and not as time intensive. So if you're getting into a major of like mechanical engineering, aerospace, playing a Division I sport, probably will really mess with that. Those two things will not coexist really well. And so if you want to have more time to have a college experience or academics, okay, then having involved with a club program is a really great opportunity. Okay. So one of our heroes that we know is this guy right here, Daniel Cook, played for the Michigan State club team, Clug team. There we go. For 4 years, then actually worked as one of the managers, and they have a high number of players that come and try out. I know people have gone and try out and not made it, and they play 3 times a week. You can see they train, they play games, they play against other schools. There's a tournament. They've traveled to Florida, and they're really having that whole experience. Once again, hey, these are mates. You're getting to have a team experience and have a great time. So I know, Ian, you want to say something about the club experience? I think it's really a great option.
Yeah, it worked out really well for our family. I think you nailed it. It's a lot of the kids on the club teams are kids with very heavy academic schedules, pre-med and engineering, and just want to play soccer, but don't want to be in the weight room every day and training long road trips and so on. So, and it's still, it's especially in the Big Ten schools, the level is very high, and there are tryouts. So there is, you have to be able to play a little bit. I think Daniel's tryouts were 120, 130 plus kids. They would take it, and they just take a handful of kids. So, but yeah, if you really want to keep playing soccer at a college level, and you don't feel like you can commit to the rigors of being in a full-time athletic program, club's a really good option. Yeah. And it was really worked out great for us. Yeah. We really
super
enjoyed
fun.
it. Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, Ian.
Okay.
Yep. So there's a lot of different levels, right? So Ian and I had a chance to go and watch a couple weeks ago the Michigan State team train, and we got a chance to sit down and actually talk to some of the coaches. So one of the coaches that I ended up talking with was the assistant coach here, Reed, and I was like, "Hey, are you in charge of the recruiting?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "How can I ask you a couple of questions?" He's like, "Yeah, you sure can ask me questions." I'm like, well, how many recruit emails do you get a day? He goes, listen, he goes, my inbox, I had 200 and I looked through them, and in 2 hours, I still had 200 because I'd gotten so many new ones. Okay. There is a tons of people wanting to go there. And I said, well, okay, where do you go to like watch players? Like, where do you actually travel to go scout players? Well, we pretty much focus on what's called MLS Next, right? And most of the guys that the MLS Next are not playing high school. They're playing at another level. They skip that and they travel in this. And the motivation there is what these elite Big Ten schools are doing. They're letting the club systems filter out and find the best players, create a team of them, and then present that team of players in front of these elite coaches. So they're actually they're delegating some of that work to these clubs to find these players, and that's what you find with MLS Next, ECNL, Girls Academy. That's really what's going on there. The coach at Kent State said in a seminar that I was listening to, he says 80% of D1 players come from ECNL, and they come from the top level ECNL players that are out there. And if you're not playing ECNL, it's not that we can't find you, just that's where the majority are coming from. And I'm like, it's got a point. It's got a point. So that was good. The other thing I asked is, like, as you're looking through these emails and highlight videos, what are you reading for? Because I'm sure they sound all the same. He goes, well, I'm really looking for something special as a player, and what is their connection to our school? So basically, they don't want to be used, right? They don't want to be. They want you to love their school like they love it, right? They want to have a relationship with you and its larger experience, because they work there for a reason. They want you to come there for a reason, and it's not just for money, and it's not just for a label. So that was comments by Reed. Just another item I heard from another podcast I listened to is a D1 coach said, we make an offer after we've seen a player in person 5 to 7 times. So in my opinion, our players at the Monroe level are not at the D1 level. I watched a ton of college soccer. It's what I watch on TV, and to find out where does things fit. Okay, but it's not to say that it's not possible or there's rare things, but I don't want to burst people's bubbles. But at the same time, I'm like, the reality is, like, there's a lot of Division 2s, 3s, NAIs, JUCOs, and there's lots of opportunities to play. I'll throw one last story in this and I'll move on. A kid that played for me in club, his name's Hayden Meek, and he played for Jefferson High School, but played on Monroe United, was a rush player, and he graduated with my son same year as Colin. Took a year off, and then went back to school and ended up playing JUCO and playing after a year off, and had a great experience at college and playing soccer within one of the JUCO's teams here within Michigan. And I thought that is just a great example of, like, it's not D1 or bust. It's play the way you want, play and have soccer a part of your life the way that fits for you. And there's a unique path for you, and I believe it for every one of our players. Okay, let me keep going. So part of your research, you got to know your skill level. You got to know where you fit. You got to know kind of what you want. Okay, the next piece of the puzzle here is, I'm going to skip the couples. You got to have a video. You got to have some documentation proof, right? They want to know you got the goods. Okay. And just like every coach, they have a certain style and thing they're looking for, and what they appreciate. They appreciate certain attributes about a player. Okay. And they're not always the same. So they really want to be able to see, hey, your evidence that you can play and do the job, right? So when it comes to video, there's probably 4 different kinds of videos. You need a minimum a main highlight video. Second option is a short clips, like 10 to 15 seconds of just one thing. Okay. They have this thing called what's called an every touch video, where it's every time you touch the ball in a game. Your goods, your bads, and it's just probably a situational game, state cup final. Maybe it's a high school district game, right? It's where maybe you were, if you're a defender, you were paired up against a D1 commit attacker, right? They want to see, they can't understand from video context. So an every touch game is super important. One of the videos that we made for Claire was an every touch video when she went to the Girls Academy showcase in Norco, California. They played against this California team, and she's playing left back, and the right wing she was against was a DePaul D1 commit winger. She shut her down, intercepted the ball 18 times, played out, and that video got, I would say, 30% more interest than some of the other ones, right? Because it was an every touch and situational. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Look at that. So that was pretty cool. The other item is like specific position specific videos. Say like you want to really haul, if you're a center back, your skill set is really, really different and unique comparatively to like a striker or a winger, really showcasing those. So if you're looking for like video stuff, this is pretty common info what I'm about to cover. Okay. I don't feel like I have a ton of unique things to share with you, but the thing I'm going to show you is like, how do you get the stuff from VO and how do you get it from Hudl? Okay. Number one, you want to include some standard details, right? Who are you? Your name, your grad, your position. Okay, right here, standard details. Your position, club, state, what's your major? That should be there. And every email should also have that on there because D1s are not allowed to talk to you unless after June 15th of your sophomore year, right? That's like illegal for them. So they want to know that. You should have your best stuff first. You should highlight yourself with some kind of indicator, a circle, an arrow, something of that nature. It should not be zoomed in, right? It shouldn't be like just a replay on an NFL film. They should be able to see the field, okay? And it should be somewhat entertaining, right? Your clip should be pretty good. So let me go show you a couple of examples of like starter videos. Okay, so here is, these are just random searches I just did. Maddie, hey Maddie, what's up? Standard information, right? Height, weight, plays, years. It's pretty big. There's Claire's, pretty trimmed down. Okay, there's Jacob. Okay, and let's actually have a look at his video. You guys want to see his video? Well, I think I can do it. Oh no, come on. No, it didn't give me the link. I thought this was going to be a link. I thought I had it. Okay, here's another example. Pretty darn cool. And I'm going to search, see if we can find this guy. This is a pretty high-end video. There we go. I found it. So video plays. Oh, there's the indicator. We know who he is. Shoots and scores. Pretty phenomenal. Oh, we know who he is. There he is. Touch out. Gets the ball back. He's going to bury it. Boom. And you're getting the point, right? Clip, highlight, on to the next one. And I'm 35 seconds in. And what's your opinion of this guy so far? It's pretty high, right? Okay, so that is within, we made a highlight video that was about, for Claire, I made a 7-minute one. We made a 5-minute one. On average from YouTube, the average watch time was about 2.5 minutes. So either they found out what they wanted to know, or that is as far as the entertainment value went. Okay, because think about it, every college coach is just a soccer fan. Like, dude, you watch, if it's fun to watch, it's fun to watch. They might just get there because it's fun to watch, or they're very analytical and go into town on it. So those are some good examples. Okay. Yep, I'm just showing you, here's how I just indicate them with a circle, arrow. This is Maddie. She used this little thing like that. Okay, and that's kind of some of the best practices. All right, now the question you guys might have is like, how do we get the stuff from VO? Okay, what is the process for VO? Is that a question you guys have? Okay, it's not easy. I'm just gonna be really honest with you guys. Okay, I got a document that kind of goes through the steps. I'm gonna demonstrate it right now and kind of show you the main things. The new system we have with Hudl is 5 times better. Okay, I'm gonna say like literally 5 times better. Okay, and so let me walk through a simple example. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through, hey, how do you harvest clips from VO? Okay, how do you then put them together on your iPhone and use iMovie? No, the process for Hudl is radically different. Okay, and how do you then mush them together in iMovie? And then from your phone, how do you then push this into YouTube? Okay, where Hudl, it all happens in the Hudl website or the Hudl app. You find the clip, you say, I want this clip, I want this one. Oh, let's put them all together, and it's all integrated into the Hudl website. There's no download, so you can't put it into YouTube. So you're a little restricted from that side of things. But I think it's from how much effort it takes. VO is like, let's say an 8, and Hudl is like a 3 from the effort it takes to do this type of thing. All right. So if you need help on this, just follow up with me. I'm glad to help you. Okay. So here is Hudl. Okay. So this is the Monroe boys game against Lincoln. Okay. So sorry, don't. Okay. What this clip is, this is Logan. He is going to score. Okay, off this, and I want to clip this. So this is kind of like how you think about it. Is like, oh, I remember I scored in that game. So you have to, what VO is going to do is going to give you all these little moments of the things that happened, and you can fast forward, you can rewind, you can jump to them. It shows you here's some different points where you can jump to it, but you find the moment that makes sense to you. So if I go play, like, okay, here's the bouncing ball. Defender turns back. Big step by Logan, hits it, ripples the back of the net. Stud of a goal. Love it. Okay, great. So now how do I take that and turn it into a clip? Okay, so here I'm going to say new clip. I'm going to do, this is procedural stuff. You just watch, okay, for fun. Okay, you can give it a tag. I usually just use something generic, a tag. It's our team. Okay, Logan, banger. Okay, I usually put them so they're just for me. All right, I don't want everyone seeing my clips. I hit save. Now here it tells me like what is the actual time frame. Okay, so this is the start of it. It's kind of boring. Not very exciting. So I might want to take this and drag this so I can adjust when it starts. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, and then we watch it play out. There's the Logan step, hit it, back of the net ripple. Okay, pause. That's really the good stuff right there. That's the good stuff. So I probably should bring this in and make it a little tighter. Piece of cake. Let's give it a name. Let's say create clip. And then if I look under clips, okay, here they are. All right, there's the attack. I think it's still building behind the scenes, but I did this just a minute ago so you guys could see it. All right, and I have a name there. Ryan C edited it about 2 hours ago. Logan banger just now. Right, and if I play it, here it is. Okay, awesome. That's step 1, is just get the clip you want. Step 2 here is I'm going to download it. Here, download. Okay, it's going to go to my downloads folder. Boom, boom, boom. Open it up. Okay, there it is right there. I'd probably give it a new name because I don't know about you guys, but I lose tons of stuff. I'll call it Logan goal. Okay, great. So now I got a clip. I would probably do this for all the ones for this game. And you might have like 4 to 15. And I would probably organize them in a folder that says, here's the clips from this game, here's the clips from this game, here's the clips from this game, here's the clips from this game. And earlier when I said, this process takes work. This is the work. This is the stuff. And so the next piece of the puzzle here is, give me a second, is you need to get that on your phone. So I'm going to switch over to my phone. All right, awesome. Okay, and I'm going to start sharing. I'm going to share my phone, share my screen. Yeah, let's do that. Start broadcast. All right, can you guys see my phone okay? Hey, look, it's you. All right, so then how do you now use your phone in iMovie to make this a reality? So this is a tool I spent a lot of time with, and this is just the classic iMovie that comes with every iPhone or iPad or Mac device. I'm sure I found that there are other video making softwares that are very complicated that I don't have the interest to learn, but this I found pretty interesting, pretty easy to learn. Okay, the option I use here is to say create movie. Okay, I scroll down till I find the clip I'm looking for. I say create movie. Oh, this is the one that's done already. Let's trash that one. Let's see if this is the one. Yeah, here we go. So this is the clip. If I scroll to the right, it's just playing, playing, and playing. Okay, first thing you can do here with an iMovie is you can trim it just by clicking. And I'm going to drag that little yellow bar to make it shorter. I don't know if you guys can see this okay. All right. The next thing I'm probably going to want to do is I need to add in the highlight or indicator to say, this is me, this is Logan. So here in iMovie, we can use, if we go to this little clock device, there's the word freeze is what I'm going to tap. When freeze comes in, it's a freeze of the screen or the video play. And I usually make this pretty small. So when it plays, it goes like this, play, and then starts again. So that little freeze is when I want to now include some kind of visual indicator. So some kind of like arrow or circle or something like that. So step one, iMovie, make a movie, get your videos in here, and you add moments of freeze. The next piece of the puzzle is now I got to have some kind of video, or not video, but an image. So from here, I just downloaded and have used one of these, a circle or the arrow. And so the key here is when you add this, you have to add it in what's called a picture in picture. So that way the image lays on top of the video. That throws it on there. I'm going to adjust it kind of smaller so that this is how long I want it to. You can see there it is on the screen, that red circle. I'm going to move it around. I can adjust it smaller. I can move it to where Logan is. If we watch it, we say play. There's Logan. Hit. And goal. The other thing that happens is it also has audio. Okay. The audio can be kind of distracting. So here in iMovie, you can take the audio and just like that, remove the audio. So there's no yay. It's just silent all the way through. All right. So for VO, download your clips, throw them into here, and you just repeat that process for every clip. A freeze, an icon, or the circle or the arrow, okay? And then I usually rip out the audio. Once you're done, you save it, give it a name. I'll call this Logan goal. I'll call it number 3. and then you need to publish it. So this is going to turn into a video that actually shows up on my phone. So I do save video. There it is. It's going to export the movie. And then the next step here is I just got to push it into YouTube. So to push it into YouTube, you can upload the YouTube app. They usually have this little plus sign button at the bottom. Look at the bottom there. There's plus sign. Okay. Pick your video. Next, you need to walk through this wizard, give it a title, description, and you can go really crazy on these things, which we did. I had a lot of fun. We made thumbnail and images, and so it really, really began to stand out. Okay, I'll stop right there. But that is the process, okay, of doing videos. All right, from a how scary is that perspective? High scary, low scary.
Probably going to need my kids to help me. Scary.
Yes, yes, and it is a little. I think it's a little daunting in my mind. That's why that's kind of one of the motivators for this session is just to kind of show you, hey, it can be done with just a simple iPhone, and you can make a video, and it's not too bad. If you have questions, just email me, text me, call me. I'd love to sit down with you. We'll meet at Panera. I'll see your videos. Okay. Love you. Let's coach you through this. Mindy.
I know they switched VO to Hudl now. Are those VO videos still accessible or
Yeah, they
are
are.
they not? They are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Still
How long
accessible.
is there an expiration or?
No, there's not. So like, see, like this is like pre-made clips. These expire after a year, but the footage is there, and you can make your own clips.
So like I'll just say for Gabby last year.
Yep.
When she played, they used the VO still previously. So will that only stay on there a year of the whole game footage, or does that stay on there kind of forever?
The whole game footage is there forever.
Okay.
These like where it says, oh, this is an attack. This is a shot on goal. These are what are called clips. This is the stuff it gets rid of. This kind of like, hey, just show me all the good stuff that's there. Okay?
So the next question is, can parents get access to it, or is it just accessible for VO and Hudl through the kids?
Yeah, so VO is a bit weird. There's only 30 licenses available. So it is that was not the case at one time. So they've changed that, and that was one of the reasons we moved away from VO. So it really is like any of the graduating players, their license should be removed. It should be given out to any of the boys or girls. It's a shared account. So yeah, it's kind of the ask, and we can see what we can do to get you that. On the Hudl, it's really different. And let me switch over, and I'll describe some things on Hudl. I forgot about that. VO is very limited on the number of licenses, or accounts that can be there. Okay. Great. Let me move on. Okay. So Hudl is radically different. Okay. As you notice, with VO, I had to take the content out of VO, put it on my phone, iMovie, push it into YouTube. VO's Hudl is the exact opposite, where it is you just go to town right in the Hudl application. Now the experience is this. To make a highlight video, it's only done through the player's account. It's only done through the player's account. So this is those Claire is logged in here. Okay, and if she goes to her highlights, Hudl has some auto highlighting that happens. It finds certain moments of the game, and that's what you see a lot here. Okay, so now how does Claire or a parent begin to harvest some of these? So they would have to go to like library, This is where they have like the stock of all the videos that are there. And let's find the SMCC game. Here we go.
Ryan, is it just me? Because I can't see your screen being shared at the moment. I don't know if
Oh,
anybody
let's
else
do that.
can.
Thank you.
Okay. There we go.
Well, you guys could have told me a minute ago. Thanks. Okay, so Hudl. Yep. You have to log in with the player's account. You go to highlights. These are the pre-made highlights that are there. And the goal is you kind of stack together different highlights into a single video. So now the question is, how do you go about doing that? Well, you can go to the library. These are the library of all of the videos for all the games. And so you can find, here's like the SMCC game. Okay, great. And if we look at clips, it'll basically show you, here's all of the things it found on its own. Like here is a shot, here is a Lechner goal, another shot, another shot. These are just things that happen to tag, okay? So you basically do the same thing where you watch the game, or you can use one of these to jump around, or you can jump around. It shows you, like here was a shot in a corner, that was a goal, this is out of possession. You can click here to jump around, so you don't have to like watch the whole game at the same time. So what you do is you find a moment that you like. Okay, I think this is, I've watched this already, and you say create clip. Okay, so here's the clip right here. This is the start of it. Okay, and you're using the interface here. Hey, it gets played, it starts, corner comes in, it's going to get deflected out to the left. Emily's going to pass out to Claire. Claire's going to drive it in. It's going to go off of Briley, and it's going to go on the goal. Okay, looks awesome. Great, it's an assist. Okay, so I'd give it a name. Assist to BL number 2. Okay, and then I have these opportunities right here of playlist and a highlight. The highlight is where you do the stuff like you saw in iMovie. So if I go highlight, this creates the interface right here where you're able in the circle, you can clip it, and you can move things around. But it starts with this kind of like clipping experience. Okay, this is where you can make it shorter or longer. And then this guy right here is the highlighter. Okay, like who am I highlighting? You move this around to a point in time that you'd like it to freeze. And it's got different styles that you can use. So pick your poison, and you can rotate it any way you like. You can have a whole lot of fun with it. And you can even add text to it and say, assist from corner. Okay, and if I look at the clip here, it's actually not very long. Oh, it's got it. And then I just say publish. And I hit publish, give it a name. Great, and now I get a unique URL for it that I can post onto profile, social media, Facebook, all kinds of stuff. And that's how you can start harvesting and creating your own clips here in Hudl. Now, the question you might have then after this, save clip, there we go, is how do we build like a highlight film, like all together? So once again, this is where you begin to stack those different clips together. If I go over to Claire's and I go to highlights, I start building one right here, 20 MHS 2025 highlights, Claire Charnock. Actually, I want to go, well, I don't want to play it. I want to edit it. There it is, edit. It's got a title. Here's kind of the standard information, and it's just clip, clip, clip. I hit plus. You can add videos. You can add a slide, a photo of their standard information, but I can add that video, and it's going to say, okay, from St. Mary's, that game, there's 3 that have been created. Oh, this is the one. Let's add it in. So great. It gets added in, and here it is. And then we can drag these left to right, right to left, And the goal here is you push these together. And I've done this a couple times, just practicing for this seminar. I hit publish and I get a URL. Notice I'm not able to download this and then stuff this into YouTube. That's maybe the one drawback, but it's so easy. Okay, from a difficulty, this is really it. I go, that's the URL, and I can post it anywhere I'd like. All right, so that's how you guys can do the Hudl clips and pieces of the puzzle. You can take your VO videos that you've downloaded and bring these in. That makes sense. So you can bring them all into this space and help out. And so from a level of difficulty, does this feel as difficult as the VO process? No, it's not. And they've done a really good job with this stuff. So really thankful for what we have here with the Hudl. All right. Let me keep going on. So those are kind of the two main tools for creating videos. The other stuff that I have for you guys is we also offer you a profile, an online profile through a system. It's free called Fieldlevel. So from the girls program and the boys program. The thing that's very unique about the Fieldlevel is that it's free. Okay, you're able to post your videos. You're able to put your player details. You can research schools, and you can actually communicate with colleges, and they can reach out to you. And there's a lot of profiles out there. There's something called NCSA, Sports Recruits, and there's more. And for Claire, we created profiles in those, and we found it yield the most responses from actual coaches. The interesting thing about this is it's a little guarded. So like what I mean like that is no, I'm not. There's no reason why. I'm just doing it for you guys. I'm not making videos. This is associated with your high school coach, and so a coach, an outside college can't get your information unless we release it to them. And it also gives Ian and Scott an opportunity to give you private reviews. And then through Fieldlevel, Ian, Scott, any of the coaches, there's a networking side of things where they connect and they build a relationship. And this is what the tool I use to reach out. And I actually reached out to about, I don't know, maybe 25 different schools and had about 9 interviews with different schools to just learn about their programs and just broaden my network, because we learned really early on, Javon and my son, hey, people get recruited through people we know. So that was one of the processes. So Fieldlevel looks like this. Okay, this is Claire's Fieldlevel. Okay, there's a timeline where you basically post like a Facebook feed. And this is where your short videos, we would post a single just short video once a week. And there's a paid subscription you can get, maybe $20 a month or something like that, but it can tell you exactly what colleges watch your videos, how often. And Claire was probably maybe for a time, maybe the top 20 person in the United States with the most activity around her account. Okay. You're able to put in stuff about some basic contact information, your athletics, okay, your highlights, your accomplishments, all these things. And if you have references from coaches, it puts it right in there. The other thing is you can see this is Claire's account. This is where she got messages. These are real messages from real coaches that reached out to her personally, either inviting her to a camp. Hey, I'd like to connect with you. We set up a phone call, you name it, and you get alerts. And you can also set what you consider to be your targets. I really would like to go to Kent State, Cedarville, Indiana Wesleyan. Here's how this works for me. And it's a very lovely program. There's also an app for your phone. I highly recommend it. So Fieldlevel. For the boys program, if you don't have an account, this is the link to join. Throw it in the chat window right there. You click that, you're able to join and make your account for free. For the girls, I don't have that. All right. So that is the fourth and final kind of tool I wanted to go over. Okay. And all those are just part of, if we think back to research and video. That's it right there. That's all. That's the tools. That's where the work. That's part of the half the work you're going to put in. So let me talk about the last two pieces. And I know I'm running long here. So are you guys still good? Is this interesting enough? Okay, I'm really going to try to shut it down, be done by 9:15. Okay, the next piece of the puzzle is once you get a video, you want to start reaching out to schools, okay? And you want to address the coaches, and you want to use your research, reach out to schools, try to connect with them, okay? Address the coach by name, in your subject, include your name, the grade you're in, okay? Describe yourself. What do you like about the school? Make sure you have a link to your highlights and a list of upcoming games. Hey, come see me play. I'd love to meet you, right? And the metaphor I told Claire and anybody else is it's a dating relationship, okay? Like in order for two people to know, like, get married, number one, they got to know you exist, okay? They have to know you exist out there. Number two, you have to have there's some level of interest in these two people, okay? Right? Then there's what we call the texting phase. Like, oh, I'm messaging this person. They've messaged me back. This is it's low risk, right? Okay. Next is then you go on a date, okay, where you're in person. They see you play. You go to their camp. You train with their team. There's an overnight visit. There's something in person, right? And there's usually some kind of follow-up followed by a commitment. What I find oftentimes is people want to go on a date. They want to go to a camp, and the coach has no idea you exist. That is like going to speed dating, okay? These camps have they could have 300, they could have 200 kids there. How would they pick you out? Colin and Javon went to Wright State D1 camp. It was demoralizing. There was 150 boys there on 2 separate fields, and I think the coaches actually saw him play maybe, if we were there for 4 hours, they actually maybe saw him play maybe 1 hour of the 4. Okay. We didn't do the work ahead of time to connect. The coach didn't know Colin existed. There wasn't oh, yes, we're interested in you. Okay. There's no texting. We just went right to the date because we didn't know anything. So that's kind of my take on this. Camps are fantastic. They're really, really a great tool to use. In my opinion, the coach should they should know you before you go. I really like school-specific camps. So if you did your research and have targets, think about the dates when they're going to have a camp and see about going there. You learn so much about it. You suddenly realize, I don't like this campus. I like this campus. I like where it's located. Oh, I could see myself here. I like the feel of this field. Oh my goodness, I'm allergic to this turf. You suddenly know things about, it's like visiting the person you date hometown for the first time. Like, oh my gosh, this is how you live, right? It is so intimate. It's so valuable. I think the school-specific camp, I cannot tell you enough. Okay. Now there is value in the multi-school camps. So for example, Grand Valley is hosting this guy. This is girls, 6th through the 9th. All these schools will be there. That's a lot. So there's like a cap, like there's probably 200 players. They cap it at, that's a pretty good ratio. Okay. So you have to look at what that looks like. Where let's look at this example. This is Lord's on the girls' side again. Sorry, guys. This is at the university. It's from 12 to 5. It's 5 hours for $60. You get a T-shirt, and they might even feed you. So, from an economics, that is like every girl in the program should go to this camp at Monroe High. Every single one, just to experience a camp. and know what it is to be in a competitive environment and evaluate yourself to say, do I fit in with the level of play here? Okay. And so that's part of the thing you figure out is am I in the top 10%, or I'm in the middle of the road? Am I hiding, or I'm in the bottom? We made a mistake. I don't know if it's a mistake. It was a good learning experience. We went to Dayton University. Claire took her there, 1-day camp. It was in the kind of the winter. It wasn't outside. It was in their indoor facility. It was really kind of small. And Claire was in the maybe 25th percentile. There's definitely girls really stood out and really, really good. She hung with them, but we suddenly realized that like they didn't know she existed. There was no texting. There was no communication. It was like, we have a crush with you, but they have no interest in us. Okay, and we had to like just come to quick terms. Like, okay, that's not for us. Where should we put our energy? Yep. So yeah, so Kyle's got a good one here. It says, the Michigan Rangers one. That's a great one. That's a good one. And last year, they just started this. Last year was their first one, and it didn't have as many attendees. It was kind of hard to sign up. So it might blow up this next year. It might be different, but that's a good one. Okay, the other item is if you have a club team, you want to encourage your coach to get you into play into showcases. So I don't know what that looks like or how that happens, but depending on your club, Michigan Jags will get you, some clubs will get you into these showcases. Some of these are free to go enroll in. They're like a tournament style, but coaches go. There's one in Indianapolis at Grand Park every year, and we saw a ton of coaches there. There's a bunch of local ones, and oftentimes like Jags or Hawks or Wolves, they might have like a combine event before the showcase, like Friday, $200, 4 hours of training. It's kind of like a camp, and you just get a lot of eyeballs. And so you got to evaluate that, and they get pretty expensive. They can be up to $250 for 4 hours. That's a ton of thing. So for our rule of our family was we only go if they know you exist. and like you've gone from we're going from a digital relationship to an in-person relationship. So if you're thinking about camps, they only happen during certain times of the year. They don't happen in August, September, and October because that's when they're playing. They typically don't happen in May. And so the camp season is actually upon you. So I encourage you, video, email, get responses, get on the phone with a coach. Hey, can I learn about your program? Tell me about it. And then they're going to want to invite you to their camp, and you're going to want to go. And so in June or July, you can start doing that. So you'll find these camps, they happen again in November and December, not as often, but then they'll be again in January, February, March, and April. So if you're interested, you cannot start too early. You cannot start too early. If I had an 8th grader that was interested in playing college soccer, we would be doing this. It wouldn't be a camp every weekend, but we would start this process, and we would have an 8th grader's appropriate level of engagement with this. And so that's a pretty big deal. So with guys, freshmen should go, and you should be looking to make connections with the lower level schools. Whatever your target is for your JUCO, your Division IIIs, make friendships, make relationships. The other thing is coaches know other coaches. And we have friends. It's a community. And we saw that with Claire. It's like, oh, hey, I got this player. Doesn't our roster fit? We don't have a space for a left back. Okay. But you might, hey, they recommend them to each other. Mindy.
Would you say that most schools have made a decision on their players prior to the start of the senior year? Like if you don't get it in between the end of 10th grade to end of your junior year, then it's too late? Or I guess looking on thoughts on timing, since they can't talk to you till after June 15th? Or is that just Division I that can't talk, or is it all
Division
schools?
I. That's Division I only. So, but I think the official rules are, I have down here. Sophomore year Division 1, 15th is when they can start to talk to you. Division 2, there's no communication restrictions. Division 3, there's no communication restrictions. And NAI doesn't have any communication restrictions. Timing. On June 15th of the sophomore year, the top D1 schools will be placing phone calls to athletes to make them offers. Okay, they will be. And these elite players will have to like schedule coaches time frames for when they actually get called. And I have a friend, acquaintance, coaching friend of mine, her daughter plays for the Nationals 08 Blue. They won the Girls Academy last year. Then now they're playing into the next league, ECNL, and these girls as sophomores are getting D1 offers throughout their junior year. It's never too late. I would say it's never too late. But I would say for the girls' side, your D1s, your D1 elite, your high-end D1s, they're done by your summer of junior year. They're pretty much filled up. For the guys' side, it's usually later, but you're also competing with like internationals. A lot more internationals are playing for the men's side. So it's not just all the domestic players, but now you have international players coming in, and it's just a little bit later in their cycle. It seems like the girls commit a little earlier. So your D2s and D3s and your NAIs, they will recruit and into girls' senior years just fine. So there's a website out there that keeps track of all the commitments to the different schools, and you can see how the roster spots have been filled up. And it's a little demoralizing. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty depressing. You're like, oh my gosh, we missed our chance. Like, no, just trust God, trust the process. That there is a place, there's a fit for you. There's a fit for your kid and your child, and it does take a ton of like stick to itiveness to just keep going after it. So that's how I saw it. Yeah, here we go. Sophomore year. This is subjective. This is just my own kind of personal swag at it. So like, for example, fall of Claire's senior year. So this fall of Claire's senior year, she was still being recruited by Calvin, top D3 school in the nation, goes to the NCAA. NAIA school, a top national championship winning Spring Arbor, still being recruited by them. And made a decision to commit to Malone and didn't get on campus till January of her senior year, right? Had a lot of phone calls. They saw her play beforehand, right? So that's a good example of timing. I think Claire's a little late, like in my opinion, right? It felt a little late. She had a broken back her freshman year. She did play, and most people were ahead of her in the exposure experience. And so somewhat a little bit of the rigor that we had to put into getting the exposure out.
Do you mind including that link for the commitments or sending it
Yeah,
later?
I got to find it. When I find
Thank
it,
you.
I can. Got it. All right, I think just in closing, I would say this: your skill, if you do some documentation, do some exposure, build some relationships, have good grades, and like I said at the beginning, I think your skill is the foundational piece, right? And every player's experience and journey through this is going to be really different. Ours was coming from a year off injury and then working through the process, and so I think each one of you will have an incredibly fun. Just really enjoy it, right? Really enjoy it for what it is, even though it's a bit of a task. It's some work. You can have some fun with it, and hopefully, help your child get to their dreams. The last thing I'll tell you is this: is the the player needs to put in the work. I never wrote one. I didn't write any of the emails. I helped her build the videos. But as Claire would say, Dad looked like he was having fun when I was doing it, and I did. Coach.
Well, I was going to jump in when you were
Please.
finished. Are you finished? Or
I'm done. Yeah, there you go.
oh, well, I was just going to thank you actually, because for all the parents who are on, there's a ton of wisdom in that presentation, and the one thing I would underline is that from the coach's perspective, it is a buyer's market. They have a ton of kids who want to play, and it's really responsible. The onus is on the player and the player's family to do most of the work. A coach isn't going to show up at Bunkleman Field and be sitting in the bleachers watching and suddenly discover you as a great player. They don't have to do that. Plus, they're in season when we're in season, so it's logistically very difficult on the boys' side for those coaches to get around the schools and see it. So, if you really want to do it, you're going to have to put in the legwork. As you said. But we do. As you said, there's levels for all of these players up and down. And I know from Monroe, we've had plenty of boys over the last 7 years since I've been involved who could have played to the college level, but for one reason or another, they just didn't put themselves out there and didn't create the exposure. And and they're all doing different things. It's fine, but if they wanted to do it, they're going to have to start writing some emails and doing some research and putting some videos together. But but outstanding presentation, Ryan. Thanks for putting a lot of time in for that. That's extremely helpful. Yeah, well done.
My pleasure. And so, please, please don't let this be the last time you talk to me about this. Right. So, I feel invested just by you showing up. I would love to see your videos, help you out. I wish I had somebody that would have offered me this stuff, because there's a lot of moments where we're pretty demoralized. I always felt like there was things we should have been doing. We missed our chance, or right, this coulda, woulda, shoulda, and sometimes you just need somebody to say you're doing just fine, or whatever. So please reach out. I don't know if I have my phone number, my email. I'm gonna throw it in the chat window here. I'm york76@gmail.com. This is my phone number, 646-0076. That's my contact stuff. So so part of my role as a coach for the boys side is this role. I find this is something I feel like a unique thing I can offer, right? And so on a game day, there's only so many voices that are important to hear, and you want to hear Coach Cook, right? And so my role is a little bit behind the scenes, and if I can help you guys improve your soccer space in another way, this would be my model for helping you doing that. So thank you guys. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Ryan. This was very, very helpful.
Welcome.
I feel like we need recruiting for Dumb 101.
Agreed.
So thank you very much.
Agreed. A lot of talented players, and I just didn't want to have you guys miss this next summer opportunity. You have a huge opportunity.
Rooney as a player listening in too, so I think he'll get a lot from this.
Yeah.
Ryan, Aaron Wells here.
Hey.
AJ is sitting with me too to give him a little bit of credit, but we did pop in late. I did notice it's being recorded.
Yep.
So we can go back and rewatch this.
Yep.
So is there a link that will be posted? Or how?
Yeah. So one way or another, I'll get you guys access to the recording, and I might have to download it and publish it on YouTube and get you access that way, or it just might be from attending. It's a bit weird. So yeah.
Perfect.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ryan, for setting this up, and great presentation. Me being a football coach is a different process with soccer, I've learned. So I really appreciate it. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm curious to hear what those differences are. So chat me up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question about like social media and stuff. So do you think like something like Twitter is important for like recruiting? Because I know it is for like football and stuff. So
Yeah. So think about like levels of exposure.
Mhm.
Okay. So a video is good, emails are really good, and then social media is a whole nother set of things.
Okay.
So Instagram and Twitter, they're really popular, and they're great opportunities to publish like your short videos,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
Claire didn't. I asked her about it. Hey, you want to do this? You want to take these videos and start put them on social media and stuff like that? She made an account, like a soccer account, and just that wasn't her interest. She didn't have a passion to do that, and so we just never did it. But I did see a lot of a lot of players do it,
Okay.
and it's very common.
And I was also thinking about like making like a separate email just for like soccer stuff, so I never like miss anything. Would that be like a good idea, do you think?
Yeah, if that sounds like a great idea.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So especially if your normal email is pretty spammy, right?
Mhm.
So that was one thing Claire had to learn. Like she had to learn like, oh, people email me, I need to check this, and I need to email them back. Right?
Yeah.
So that was that's the professional communication channel, and so that's a great way of doing that.
Okay. And I had one last question. I don't know if you know about, because I know you mentioned like MLS Next, but
Yep.
I know there's going to be like MLS Next 2, like another league. And I was thinking about trying out for MLS Next 2 Jags team. So do you think that'd be like a good level of exposure also?
Yeah, it sounds really great to me, and that would probably get you opportunity to probably train with the MLS Next folks and get insight into that community, and you just be playing with the next tier down, and you'll probably get a chance to go to showcases, and they'll have unique events just for the MLS2 academy groups. So that's pretty cool.
Okay.
The interesting thing that happens when you start playing club at those levels, guess who shows up to your trainings?
Coaches?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So these higher level teams, coaches know that they've done the hard work of filtering out
Mhm.
the lower level players. They basically have, hey, for an hour and a half, we're going to watch this group of all potential people. They'll show up.
Okay.
It's pretty fun.
All right. Thank you.
And
You're welcome.
can I just jump on that, Ryan?
Please.
So, Rooney, just so you know, and you go where the best fit is for you, but make sure that with the MLS Next teams, sometimes you're ineligible for high school. They have a year-round program.
Yes.
So I'm not discouraged. Obviously, I'm your high school coach, and I want you to play high school for selfish reasons. But it ultimately it would be your decision. But I just want you to know that, and that if you feel that's fits with your long-term plan to play in college, then I'll absolutely support that. But make sure you're aware of that going in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's got down as far as MLS Next 2 yet. MLS Next Academy is certainly a year round. It's a 12-month program. So just be aware of that going in.
Yeah. That's because I want to play high school soccer still. So that's why I was thinking like MLS Next 2, because I'm not like completely sure, but I'm pretty sure that like kind of made it so you can still play high school soccer, but we're like reaching out to the coaches to make sure also.
Right, to make sure, see what the long-term plan is for that MLS Next 2. I think they're kind of flying a kite right now with that second division just to see if it takes off. So I don't know what their long-term plans are, but yeah, best of luck. I mean, I think you have the ability to certainly hang at that level. So see what happens. Yeah.
Well, he wants to play high school soccer.
Yeah.
For Monroe High School soccer.
Okay, well, we want that too.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, thanks. Any other questions? All right, once again, thanks for everybody. And I guess we'll close up shop and call it a night. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.